Hola, this is a brief presentation on Spanish pronunciation, the five vowels and sounds that they make, and a few unusual consonants in Spanish, especially if you're coming from English as your first language. Here are the five vowels in Spanish and the sounds they make. A, E, I, O, U. This is the best approximation I could give you of the phonetic spelling of how it sounds in a word like boot, boot, as opposed to a word like look, where double O sounds like a little different. This is oo. One more time. A, E, I, O, U. Several of the tricky consonants in Spanish, the letter G, sometimes it sounds like G, like in English. For example, the word for cat, which in English is C-A-T, in Spanish G-A-T-O, would be G, like gato, gato. However, when G is followed by E and I, which this would be pronounced E, I, it sounds like the English H, H. So for the word generally in Spanish, you pronounce this G, H, gen, generalmente. The word geography, once again, G followed by E, is pronounced H. Say, geografía, geografía. And for the word smart in Spanish, G followed by E, inteligente, inteligente. The word J is also pronounced like H in every case. So for that hot pepper you eat, call it a jalapeno. Jalapeno. Double L does not sound like L, ol in English. Instead, double L in Spanish will be pronounced ya. So the word for she in Spanish is pronounced e, ya. E, ya. That cheesy thing you get to eat is called a quesadilla. Quesadilla. It's wrapped up in something called a tortilla. Tortilla. Something that's beautiful in Spanish, you say bella, bella. The initial R as a consonant in Spanish would have to be rolled like this. The word for delicious or rich in Spanish is rico. The man's name, Ricardo. So see how the letter R at the beginning of a word sounds differently than a single R in the middle of a word. Again, Ricardo. If I rolled this, that would be incorrect to say Ricardo. That's wrong. If you need to have a double, if you need to roll an R, have a rolled R sound. In the middle of a word, you have a double R. So the word for dog would then be not perro, but perro, perro. Little doggy with the ito ending, perrito. Burrito, and the word for rice, arroz. Finally, the letter N is different from ñe. N is like English N, and the word for girl, niña. The ñe, which is N with a tilde on top, is pronounced as if there was a Y right after this N. Between the N and the A, there's a Y. So, niña. The word for pineapple, to make a pina colada, as we say in English, is pronounced for pineapple, piña. Piña colada. And finally, the word mountain has it in it, montaña. We get the word, let's see, the state of Montana is named for the Spanish word montaña. Montana used to be a part of Mexico, as did other southwestern states, which also have Spanish origins to their names. The name for Nevada is Spanish Nevada, which means snowy because of the mountains which have snow on the top. Montana has the Rocky Mountains, so it was called Montana, which comes from Spanish montaña. And let's see, Colorado, which is a Spanish word colorado, which also referred to the color of the mountains there. Muy bien. Look for my other video on syllabication, which will help teach you how to break down really hard, long words like this into bite-sized pieces that you can then improve your pronunciation with, part by part.